Hello, my name is Ben Loomer,
And I'm Emma Legault.
and we are the project coordinators of Learn's I Belong project.
When we first approached the project, we really wanted to give English-speaking youth an opportunity to reflect on what it means to belong to Quebec society. So what does it mean to fit in or to have a sense of attachment to a group or to a place? And we did a lot of research to help figure out what some of the best ways to approach the subject matter would be. And we landed pretty firmly on the arts. A lot of the research pointed to the arts as a great and powerful mechanism for entering into conversations around belonging and deepening our sense of belonging. We also looked at community service as a method for promoting and engaging in the subject of belonging.
We're really pleased to announce that we had over 1,750 students participating in the project. These students came from 12 different regions in 46 different schools.
Yeah, and over the past few months, we've been receiving a lot of feedback from students and teachers and artists about what was discussed and what some of the insights students had to share. And so we're going to highlight just a few of those for you now. And I'll kick us off just by saying that, we're talking about youth in grade 5 and up. So when you're talking to students who are 11, 12 years old, about Quebec society, for them what that means is conversations about their local community, about their schools, about sporting arenas. These are often the places where youth have their first encounter with Quebec society, and it's their first sense of belonging or not to the province. Another thing that stood out to me is just around language. We assumed that language would emerge as a much more critical component in relationship to identity and belonging, but that didn't necessarily prove to be true. In fact, students who participated this school year were often more interested in discussing barriers that were tied to things like neurodiversity, gender, sexuality, and race. The last thing I would want to highlight is, the kids took us back to basics. A lot of students pointed out the importance of simple gestures like kindness, saying hello, being accommodating, inclusive, celebrating people's differences, allowing space for people's differences, and how those small gestures can make the biggest difference in terms of their sense of inclusion and belonging as well as that of others. Ben, what stood out to you?
Hearing from teachers and students, I heard that working with artists on these different options were wonderful in terms of building trust between students and teachers, different opportunities for students to come out of their shell, especially when discussing issues around identity and belonging. We also heard that the more teachers and students participated in these types of discussions, the deeper they can go. There's something about the scaffolding of starting where students are at and then building from there. These projects were wonderful in terms of supporting the mental health and wellness of students. Giving them creative outlets was really important in terms of reflecting again on where their lives are at and their sense of belonging. And lastly, I'll add that in the context of COVID in schools, wearing masks, being in bubbles, these I Belong projects were really a highlight in what was otherwise described as quite a drab year.
Yeah, absolutely. And, we're absolutely delighted that we're going to have the chance to do this project again next school year. We're excited to see where students and teachers take the conversation. I think it'll be an opportunity, and it's certainly our hope that the conversations will just keep going further and deeper. Ben, is there anything else that you'd like to add before we wrap up?
Yeah, I'll just add that these projects took place in the context of English-speaking schools. And I think it was really important that we gave students a chance to build in a culture of expression around identity and sense of belonging in ways that they may not have done before. And for that, we'd like to thank you.
Yeah, and maybe on that note, we will just take a moment to thank the Secretariat for allowing us to have this opportunity, to our featured artists, to our teachers, and of course to participating youth. Thank you so much for the leadership and the courage that you brought to this project. It was so inspiring, and we can't wait to see what you have to say next school year.
Thank you.